It's been 2 years since the release of Modern Horizons 3. How well is the sealed product holding up? Are we going to get a Modern Horizons 4? Are singles actually still moving in this market? Stay tuned, we have a lot to cover for today's video. It has been almost 2 years since we got a Modern Horizons set. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out for another video. Remember back in 2019, the original Modern Horizons? Then we had Modern Horizons 2, which was epic, and then Modern Horizons 3, still an amazing set. People talk about it to this day. But how well are the products holding up? Are we going to see future products? And what are people doing with the sealed product? Well, before we get this all started, let's not forget that Rosewater has stated that they're moving away from these direct to consumer, inject brand new cards into the modern format. They've kind of moved away from that, at least for now. And of course, they can change their mind any second. Who am I to say? We saw what happened with 30th anniversary. We've seen what's happened in the past with them keeping their word. If they think there's money to be had later, if they got to turn around and change direction, they're going to do it. But right now, their goal is not to put out a Modern Horizons 4 set. Okay, that's not where they're going with things. They're going to stick to this whole universes beyond thing and see if it works for them. So, what's going on with the sealed product? How many players are buying it? And how about the singles in the market? Are they holding up over time? It's been a couple of years. There's a lot of information out there. We know which cards are selling. So, before we get started here, let's take a look at what's actually happening. So, if you look at this product right now, you can see it's sold out at this local store. But the box was going for $6.19 at the time of this selling out, or whatever they've done at this point. They don't have any in stock. Now, if I jumped over, though, and shared with you guys the actual online sales, you can see it's around $536, $520, somewhere in that range, US. The price I showed you was in Canadian. These boxes were going for around $525 Canadian at time of release, which puts them around the $400 US mark at that time. So you can see, yes, they've upshifted, they've sold out, and they're worth a lot of money. And as you can see in this image, we've got quite a few sales still consistently happening. We're seeing sales every few days. A few things are pocketing here and there, and people are still buying the product. It's still moving around the market space. Now, if we look at the cards inside the set, we can't forget what we're looking for. Things like Ocelot Pride, Ulamog, the Defiler. Look at these cards. $75, $49. You got the Retro Fame Ocelot Pride for $47. And then you got the regular for $39. It was very interesting when you opened boxes back then that if you open this, you could get all three in a single pack in some cases. There were some insane openings back then. We got Kalia of the Vast, that's $37. Anyway, you can see Tamio, the Inquisitive Student, all these $30, $40 cards. Then there's a bunch of $20. Then there's a whole whack load of $10 cards inside these boxes. There is a ton of value tied up inside these things. When you open them, you don't have to get a huge hit. You need to get multiple mid-range hits across multiple packs, and you can actually do really well. Now, again, it's a gamble. You're not guaranteed to break out and make a lot of money, but there is a lot of value in these boxes, and there's a lot of cards that are likely going to go up in value if Wizards of the Coast doesn't reprint these things at some future date. If we looked, of course, at the things like the Play Booster box, okay? This one here had a lot less value tied up inside. When you open these boxes, it was kind of hit or miss. You could get some decent cards, but at the same time, you may not get a lot of value. I know a lot of people got really mad about these box openings and people turned them away, and it actually kind of shows inside the sales. If you look on this one, look, the 9th, the 8th, the 8th, the 8th, the 7th, the 6th, one or two boxes, and this is in the $200 range. This is actually not a bad price to pay for the box. There's still a lot of stuff in there, but a lot of people do not take the risk in opening these boxes right now. They maybe accumulate them, there might be movement in the market, but I don't know a lot of people who are opening boxes at this time inside the Modern Horizons 3 sphere. Now, when you look at the single sales, and we took a look at how often they were selling, the Pride and all these other cards in the different variants, people tend to go for the lower end card that's like the $30, $40 range. Yes, they still sell. Yeah, they still happen all the time, but they're not selling thousands of copies. The market is not in an area where you're like, hey, we're in trouble here, man. These prices are going to go up. It's going to be scary. No. The market is very level. It is very evenly paced. There's buyers and sellers. The price goes up a tick, it goes down a tick, and it kind of just stays right along the median line. That's a very good sign that that market is healthy for these boxes. They have value inside the sealed as well as the singles. Now, that sealed value, as we know, only holds up as long as Wizards of the Coast does not reprint things. As Wizards of the Coast has proved in the past, when they reprint cards, it kills the value of a sealed product that is an older product that maybe it was going up in value because those cards were expensive and hard to find. Wizards of the Coast right now is unlikely to do it because they're kind of steering away, but that doesn't mean you're not going to see Secret Layers or some other ultra premium product with a whole mix of cards from Commander, Modern, and Standard. Whatever format has a lot of value, they may be printing them into those kinds of sets, but again, at a premium level. It's more likely that Wizards of the Coast, as with what they've been doing lately, is going to let things sit. They're going to let it simmer and allow the values to rise in many of these cards. They want them to be valuable for reprinting later, and they seem to be building a very large stockpile. I've noticed over the last little while that the reprints we're getting in Secret Lair aren't the huge heavy-hitting value cards, and there's lots to pick from in the last couple of years, but they're avoiding it. They're stepping away from it, and they're letting these card values slowly drift up. Some cards have been outmoded by new sets, absolutely, but for the most part, Modern Commander cards seem to be gaining in value across the just long list of cards. It may not be, this card went up $75, absolutely not. But you're seeing cards go up $1 here, 50 cents there. When that happens enough times, you're going to see a 10 and 15% increase over a 3-4 month period. That's pretty significant. At the end of the year, if a card goes up 40%, that's a lot of value gained. There's a lot of money being tied up into this cardboard, and there's a lot of people making money off that right now, and that's something to be aware of. I'm not saying people are diving out and buying the boxes. That is not happening. The boxes that do get bought are not being opened. The singles market is extremely stable, and it looks like this is a good time to at least admire the cards and see if there's anything you're after, because you know the value is likely going to stay pretty evenly paced along that line right now. Wizards, again, has no indication that they want to print. They have no indication they're going to put this into some specialty product. They seem very tied up into the Secret Layers as well as what we've been seeing inside Universes Beyond. And because of that, and we know at least for 2026 kind of where their mindset is, that's another year gone by. That's year number 3. How is that going to affect some of these cards? How much value is going to move in these circles? How many of these cards are going to spike up because of it? Let's not forget, you've still got a whole bunch of fetch lands in there as well in the $10, $20 range. And some people could get 3 or 4 inside a single box. Crazy stuff going on. I did not think when reviewing that box that we were going to see the values hold that high, but they really are. And by the way, Modern Horizons 2, it's pretty much holding its own as well, but Modern Horizons, the original, it's not doing so hot. They've reprinted most of those cards. The Sunbait Canyon lands and stuff, those ones that have the cycling and stuff, if they had not reprinted those, we would have seen a lot more value tied up into those boxes, allowing players to kind of cash in, but it's not happening. So I don't know how many boxes are sealed and sitting on people's shelves, but as I just shared with you in the one image, that one store has like 45 boxes available. Okay, I try to put it in a cart and stuff. They have tons of boxes of the Play Booster box. But of course, the collector boxes are all gone and long since, been history. You've got to go into the secondary market to find those things, and there's still quite a bit of value inside there. So what do you guys think? How do you feel looking back at products like this? And do you miss them 2 years now? They've been gone for a while. We're talking 700 plus days. Do you miss it? Or are you kind of glad it's gone and you want to move on? You guys let me know. Stop, leave a comment, let us know how you feel. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with the Mox Man. But don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Wait, it's the top 10. It'll be the top 10, the hottest selling cards in Magic. Can Spider-Man pull it off again? That'd be interesting. Guys, check out my Saturday video. We're going to be talking about the top 10 hottest selling cards in Magic. I'll see you then. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in for another MTG Moxman video. And let's not forget where that video came from. It came from the patrons, the YouTube membership members. Those patrons and members of the channel allow for this daily uploaded content each and every day. And I can't thank them enough for allowing me to be on this journey of Magic the Gathering with you guys each and every day. So thanks again, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Have an awesome day. I was pretty surprised. I'm not going to lie to you guys. When you see, Ragavan, all that stuff still holding up in some of these boxes, they got, adding the fetch lands in there always adds that baseline of value. It's very interesting to see how well they've held up. It was way higher than I thought. And the boxes sold a lot more than I thought was possible. I mean, when I looked at it, I said, how many could possibly be selling? What's the open market look like? What stores have them in stock? Bigger stores seem to have those play booster boxes readily available. But those collector boxes just aren't around. You gotta go to the secondary market, and they're like $600-700. But I guess that's based on what we've seen from other boxes. It's crazy, right? Interesting stuff, man. I don't know. My brain is just rambling the jamble. It's just going right now. Thinking about like how many people lost money, how many people gained money, how well the singles market did, and where things ended up. Because it always seems to go in a big wheel. And if you hit the right spot, you're going to win. It's crazy. Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Yeah.